Turning to Foxborough, Mike Giardi's coming up in a little bit. He's been standing by doing wall-to-wall coverage there from Foxborough. But let's discuss that game from every single angle. We're going to do that in a little bit, but let's get to the walkthrough here. And we're going to go through some of these games. Each of us has picked something that we're excited to see this weekend. So Mike, Rob, start us off. What are you pumped to watch?
Yeah, Colleen, I'm going out there to the Rams Stadium, the Arizona Cardinals visiting the Rams. Kyler Murray, this is a street credibility game for you. You can show the world that you are legit. You can show the rest of the National Football League you're a true MVP candidate. This dude has been phenomenal, completing almost 80% of his passes, running all over the place, just dropping dimes all over the place. We've seen him start the season like this before. But I need to see Kyler Murray continue to carry this good play and beat a quality team like the Los Angeles Rams so he can make a stamp on this league and show everybody he is legit. Jeezy, what you looking for, man?
Speaking of movement quarterbacks, how about Lamar Jackson against the Denver Broncos in a game that's probably being overlooked? I mean, a lot of games are probably being overlooked by that Tampa Bay-New England matchup. I think this one is an awesome one because you've got the #1 ranked defense as far as points against go and #2 as far as yards go in the Denver Broncos. I know people are saying, well, they played the Giants, the Jets, the Jaguars. Where's the challenge? Here it comes. And guess what? If the Ravens wind up losing this, I'm sure people will say, well, Lamar Jackson wasn't in top form, even though he practiced fully on Friday. He's a little bit banged up, but it's just general soreness. I can't wait to see how Denver defends Lamar and the Ravens, D-Hall.
Yeah, guys, for me, it has to be this Carolina Panthers defense. When you think about what I thought they were going to be and then what showed up, they're #1 in every category in the National Football League. And just like to Jeezy's point, we can say they haven't played anybody, but hey, you play who's on your schedule. I tell you who's coming to town.
Yep.
Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. So, man, this is going to be, pass rusher, good DB play, linebacker play. I'm really loving Phil Snow, a.k.a. the Snowman. This is going to be a heck of a game. Colleen, what are you waiting for?
I love it. The Snow Patrol, I'm excited for that game too, but I'm really excited to see the Eagles maybe run the ball more than 3 times. That's how many non-quarterback runs they had last week on Monday night against the Eagles. So I think when you have Miles Sanders only running the ball 2 times in the first half, that's a problem. Now, of course, I get it. They were hardly on the field. They were losing the time of possession. But this week, hey, they got the Chiefs coming in. That run defense has been brutal. They're giving up the 2nd most rushing yards per game, the most rushing touchdowns, so they could get right. I think also it's very fitting that I'm harping on the Eagles running the ball more with Andy Reid coming to town. And of course, running back LaShawn McCoy, he retired as an Eagle. He'll be honored at halftime. So not so thrilled about Patrick Mahomes on the other side trying to get right against the Eagles, but we'll see how that one goes. So those are a couple things that are on our radar right now. But let's get to the game that we are all excited for. Sunday night, the showdown, Bucs at Patriots, Gillette Stadium. Brady's return to Foxborough, possibly the most hyped regular season game, I don't know, ever. So if we're live in Foxborough, you know Mike Giardi's on the scene. And we'd say thanks for getting up early for us today on this Saturday morning, Giardi, but we know that you were already there anyway.
Yeah, we've just been hanging out. It's a whole group effort here, get the coffee, get the tea, get the snacks. We're just trying to, manage this week as best we can for a long day tomorrow, but an exciting day tomorrow. Brady comes back here to Foxborough. And, the beginning of the week, Colleen, there was a whole bunch of talk about how, look, Tom deserves all the accolades he gets and, really proud to have been his teammate and he helped shape this franchise for 20 years. And while Bill Belichick did that again at the end of the week, we started to get from the players the notion that, okay, enough is enough, right? We know that Tom Brady's coming back, but we're 1-2. We haven't played well. He's a handful. We got to concern ourselves with many more things other than Tom Brady and the emotion of that return. So Patriot players, as characterized by Matthew Judon late in the week when he was asked his 6th question on Brady and was like, bro, he's just a quarterback. They got 2 other quarterbacks on their team. They got running backs. They got wide receivers. They got offensive linemen. They got tight ends. We got other things that we got to deal with than just 12 coming back. You can throw your flowers at him. We got to play the game.
Okay, so real quick, though, before I let you go, tomorrow is obviously the game. What time will you get there at the stadium, and what time will you leave? Just wondering.
7 a.m. probably, 7:30 a.m. and probably leave at 1:30 a.m. And I'll see you on Good Morning Football on Monday.
Get this guy a raise, everybody. Mike Giardi putting in extra time all week long, and it's not over yet. We'll talk to you many more times, my friend, throughout the show. We know Brady and Belichick are legends, and this might sum it up best. Tom's 7 total Super Bowl titles are more than any franchise in league history. Bill's 6 titles, more than every team except the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we get it. They are great. Brady and Belichick over 400 games together. That history, it is rich, gang. But D-Hall, what's the most intriguing aspect of their first game ever against each other?
Well, Colleen, you laid it out. 400 games together, right? But in the process of that, how many practices? Like 18 years, 19 years of practices together? And so you best believe Coach Belichick is going to know every little thing that Tom doesn't like or things that has given him trouble through the process of his career. He's going to be trying to make sure that's in the game plan. And on the reverse side, Tom Brady ain't no slouch. So you best believe Tom Brady knows what Bill likes to do in certain situations. So for me, it's that mental chess match. I remember going against Shanahan's offense for years, about 3 or 4 years when he was a part of our staff. And then when he left, I could just tell where guys were lined up, the formations, how they were running their routes. I mean, just textbook the way that Kyle had coached it up. And so I'm thinking about Tom and Bill and just, man, the mental chess match that's going to be played Sunday night. It's going to be a thing of beauty to watch. I mean, these are 2 guys who are the ultimate competitors who won't leave one stone unturned. And so, man, it's about to go down. I wish I could hop on a plane and be there to watch it because it's going to be must-see TV for sure.
Absolutely, D-Hall. And, I was talking to Cody, our producer, for the show, and I wish they had a camera on Bill Belichick and Tom Brady from the minute they open their eyes Sunday morning all the way until kickoff. I just want to see how those guys are thinking about each other because you're right, man. 20 years together, 20 years of games, 20 years of memories, 20 years of practices, 20 years of meetings with each other. These guys know each other very, very well. And at the end of the day, Tom Brady is the GOAT on the field, and those players have to play against Tom Brady. And yeah, D, like you said, Bill Belichick has guarded against Tom Brady for 20 years, but he hadn't played in a real game against Tom Brady. And Bill Belichick ain't putting on no pads. He ain't rushing no passer. He ain't actually going out there and playing. And it seems like Tom Brady has seen every blitz. He's seen every line twist. And yes, he's older, but look at the quarterback metrics, man. He's tops in everything. Explosive passing, touchdowns, completions, completion percentage. Every metric that you have in the quarterback position, Tom Brady is still one of the best in the National Football League at it. So I think it's going to be a tough time for the New England Patriots because at the end of the day, the history between these 2 guys, I just can't wait to see these guys interact with each other.
And Mike Robb, you mentioned you wish that there was a camera on Belichick and Brady from the time they open their eyes tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if Brady is not doing that because that just seems like something that would happen. And we'll see the documentary come out a couple years from now, maybe even next year, who knows. But this is basically a Week 4 Super Bowl at this point. We have covered it so much. We've talked about it so much. I'm just so happy and relieved that it's finally happening tomorrow. And I feel like this is going to be Zapruder filmed the entire way, the pregame, the postgame. And it was really interesting because on Thursday night, when I was with the gang for Thursday Night Football, Steve Smith Sr. was talking about the first time he played the Panthers when he was with the Ravens. And sure, it was not in Carolina, and that makes a huge difference. But there were still just so many emotions. And I think, and he said that there was nothing he could have done in that game that would have made him feel satisfied. Now, Irv was like, if I put up 400 yards, that would have been fine for me. But I think the thing that was really interesting that he brought up was the fact that it's not just Belichick on the other side that he's going to be familiar with. It's the entire game day staff. It's security guards. It's media members. It's everyone. There's so many emotions, and that's when things really break down. I cannot wait to see how this whole thing unfolds.
Colleen, the most hotly anticipated game of the NFL season took a hit on Friday when the Buccaneers released their injury report, and we saw that former Patriot Rob Gronkowski is listed as doubtful with a rib injury. if he's doubtful after Bruce Arians called him a game-time decision, you know how hurt he is. Because I was looking forward to, Brady needs 68 yards for the all-time passing record. If he got to 60, would he try to get that one to Gronk? I would love to break it in Foxborough by throwing it to Gronk. Do I want to make sure Gronk gets a TD so he can spike it in Foxborough? All these storylines for one of the most entertaining players, maybe in NFL history, all out the window potentially here. I mean, we're going to leave open the possibility for some kind of miracle recovery here and he's ready to play. But that tells you how hurt he is. So, Colleen, Gronk no play, Mike sad.
Red Zone Robbie G. I can't believe this is so disappointing. He's ruining it for all of us. What a storyline that we would have had. Anyway, it's going to be great. I cannot wait to see this game. What do you guys think, though? Who are you pulling for in tomorrow's Bucs-Patriots game? 65% going with Brady, and the Bucs will have that poll up so you can